Welcome everyone, Simon here from the Wales of Wall Street update here on Decentraland. That is Mana on the exchange, MANA. So guys, we've had some absolutely phenomenal chart movement in this particular token over the last 48 hours or so. So guys, before we do that, just a quick top overview of a couple updates from Decentraland. It's a topic we actually covered a while back. It's something I've been invested in previously towards the end of last year and in the beginning of this year. But of course, the big whole topics around metaverse recently have really taken virtual reality gaming and gaming in general, particularly around the crypto tokens, to another level. If you haven't done so already, go and check out the top 5 gaming crypto picks that we did back in June. Decentraland was one of them, but actually we went for a lot of gaming research in the beginning of that video, a lot of statistical information and things like that. So it's definitely worth going to check out if you are new to the gaming world or you have an interest in investing in the gaming world. You might find some of that information quite interesting and informative to make arguably a decision in your investment perspective moving forward. But guys, Decentraland, for those that don't know, we're not going into massive detail. I will leave a link at the end of this video to our Manaland, or Decentraland, introduction video that we did a few months back. So Decentraland, essentially, you're creating your own avatar that can walk around various worlds. You can buy, sell land, the traditional things that are becoming very apparent in gaming blockchain worlds. You can essentially utilize NFTs, you can create land, you can interact with other people, and I'm sure along the way, as the metaverse grows, it will be a world that you can transition yourself into back and forth with other games as well. So go check out the website. This is very early days in my opinion still. Of course, I've seen things like this way in the past. I always forget the name. It was like Second Life, I think. Not as colourful as this was, to be sure. Obviously this has kind of like a Minecraft feel to it. There is another game called Sandbox, which we've covered quite a bit as well. But what I like about Decentraland is the nice themed stuff that they're going on about quite recently. So we've got the Halloween party, of course, I believe tonight as well, which can be quite fun. So people dressing up in outfits and stuff, wandering around the world, little games and stuff to get involved in. Of course, with Decentraland, you've got things like the Atari. Put a casino in there. You've got loads of other different projects going on all over the place with that as well. And also recently, one of my favorite things here was the actual festival. They did a metaverse festival, guys. It was absolutely phenomenal. Something which would have affected the price for sure, because I do think there's a lot of people that would be involved in this who love music and that sort of thing. One thing that was key for me was deadmau5 integration. So obviously it's fantastic to see that aspect that one day, if you can't make it across the world to a concert or something, you can do the next best thing is sit in your home and dance away. Of course, I love festivals and things like that. Of course, became quite difficult last year in the pandemic and everything. But I think what's happened, it's a general topic really, which we'll do a video on later anyway, about the concept of virtual gaming and the metaverse and what do you think about it, and opening up to you guys from a perspective of, do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing? And I think there's good and bad things to everything, right? But I think, imagine all these people that can't get to festivals for one reason or another, or haven't had that remote experience but have always wanted to, whether it's an affordability thing or potential situations in the world that just don't allow them to be able to travel and things. I think this is beautiful. I think it's a great opportunity for someone to be able to, anyone and everyone, to be involved in not only a fantastic gaming community, but all these cool little projects they're putting together. Real massive engagement. Like I said, it's only just the beginning, guys. Like Decentraland has been floating around in the price charts quite recently. I sold it personally in the top end the last time around earlier this year. I'm still sticking by that decision. Of course, I should probably have reinvested just because of my belief in gaming and everything. However, I felt that I was going to just wait till the bear market. But how wrong were we to suggest that, in the sense that, of course, the metaverse conversation came out. I always believed that Mana would have another spike up again to a new all-time highs and everything, of course, throughout this year and into next year. But I wasn't expecting what we saw the last 48 or so hours. And in general, of course, that has an aspect around this whole aspect of the metaverse and everything. But let's, on that topic, jump into the chart, guys. So absolutely phenomenal moves. Before we do that, smash the like button if you're liking what you're hearing or seeing. And do make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. So guys, absolutely caned it in this chart. Of course, in the last however many hours, absolutely incredible moves. So here's where we were down here, around 77 cents for the last few weeks, to be honest. And look at that. I have to zoom in to show you how big this is. The top end, guys, new all-time high, which I will gladly put a new horizontal line in here, the golden mark, at approximately, was it 5? What did we hit actually yesterday? It was quite phenomenal, really. We had the high of $4.94. Wow, can I get that bang on? Let's just stick it around there. That'll do. We get the idea. That is phenomenal, guys. And what did that mean for the chart in these last few days? Let's just quickly check the price range movement from this. So taking it from one of these levels down here up to this top point of nearly 600%, 580% gains in 2-3 days, guys. Congratulations to the Mana holders, and I'm sure some of you must have taken profits along here. Of course, there's loads of long-time holders as well. But there's a couple of observations I wanted to pull out here. Of course, we hit this midpoint here on this long-term chart. But what's also really interesting, so I've got this macro level fib retracement. We're removing the colors, some feedback and some comments that was too colorful on our chart shows. So I just want to make some few observations here. And what was really interesting to me is on this long-term one that we drew in a few videos back for Decentraland. Look at that, pinpointed. I believe that's today at a high of that bang on mark. So what was that, around 419? And look at that, it's pretty much bang on that long term. So clearly traders are interested in the long term and short term aspects of this project. By the way, in the next level up after the all-time high, if we ever get back up there soon, we'll be targeting around $7.7, and you don't want to see what it comes up as the higher levels. It's up to $20. Can that happen in the next few months? I'm not so sure, but I do believe in the project. I'm sure in the future, absolutely, in a few years time, but in these next few months, we'll have to see the development of Metaverse and the development of Decentraland. But anything is possible in this space, especially in the gaming arena, of course. But for me, this is absolutely phenomenal project. It's clearly shown its capabilities in the last few days, albeit even if it is a short-term move from all the announcements recently. A couple other points as well to point out here. If you look here, this is taken from one of our updated fib retracements, is that actually this line drop down, if you can see from today's activity, has pretty much nailed this point here at $3.02. It is retraced back upwards to around about current time of recording, nearly $3.50. So that is absolutely phenomenal. But I am anticipating potential corrections along the way as people tend to fade out or get bored of it or think, oh, this isn't going up anymore, and a few weeks pass or a month passes and all of a sudden boredom kicks in and this and the other. For the real investors, they'll be definitely picking up accumulation points, and for me, I've put in a few based on a bit of data really in terms of the long historic information as well as pinpoints here on the fib retracement, which was generally a good guideline for me in the past to obtain some potential accumulation points. So what have I got here? We've obviously hit this lower one here. I did actually start this video last night, and then it's managed to come down here today. So hopefully that kind of emphasizes the points that we're making here on this. But I tend to, what I do is I've got a bag of USDT basically available for the Mana token, and what I tend to do is just drop some lines slightly above and slightly below key points for me, which kind of entail with slightly macro levels as well as long term. So here, for example, which takes in this, if you can see the mark here from around the 2nd of April here, just hovering around this blue to red mark. So it's kind of like that's the middle point, but I'm also taking the macro levels here at this $2.71. So I'm picking out some USDT bags here at 276, and I've got one in just under or just over, sorry, the 250 mark. I've got some down here around the lower regions of $2 as well, picking just above the $2. I'm sure there'll be some wick downs further than that as well if we do ever come back down to these levels. And I've got some lower regions just being very bullish in my mind here to try and accumulate some really really bullish markers there. So our observation down here is, of course, last recent sort of high points here around this mark on the 5th of September, which is around just over the $1 mark. But like I said, we've had this reduction here, been floating around the 70 cents. We've had previous top highs of around that 160, 170 mark. That's where I topped out earlier in the year. I was buying mana way back earlier in the year at these silly prices here, about 1 or 2 cents. So for me, it was a phenomenal gains. People were like, "Oh, you're ridiculous, you've sold early." Well, sorry, but my gains were massive, and that was my choice. That's what it's about to me. I'm not fussed about like the actual price points. I'm more interested in the gain potential. So I took that out there. Of course, it's probably not as big as this one. That is a lesson, I guess, for me, guys. A lesson to portray to you is that never sell all your bag. Always keep some back just in case for the future and to help reaccumulate a bag moving forwards. But that is certainly one of my lessons. I've learned that very well, but I'm hoping for some corrections. People might argue out there that this might not be coming down to these levels anymore. Maybe we're hitting finally the price points that Decentraland should be at. I'm not saying it's the real price should be about $3.50. I mean, yeah, it could be anywhere around this area. But for me personally, I've always felt that Decentraland was undervalued because of what I know in gaming, because I know what in the esports industry, from personal experience and work experience, over a 5-10 years period of working within esports and partnerships as well as other things, the magnitude and the ability of this kind of game and project. So for me, it was definitely undervalued. It's something for a long time hold. I thought that I could probably grab some in the bear market, but this just shows you how reflective this market can be on real world scenarios, especially when things like the metaverse are always on the cards. I never thought that we would see it this early. I generally thought it was a development aspect. It's going to be a few years' time, but of course, mainstream's got hold of this. It's been on various news channels. Of course, the magnitude of Facebook and its following and the amount of people that will be probably racing to get VR headsets over the next few years will be phenomenal. Absolutely huge statistics. Like I said, go and check out our intro video on the top 5 gaming picks that we did a few months back, because there's some good stats there, and you will truly see the magnitude and power of esports gaming moving forward, as well as virtual reality in general too. So that's kind of like our thought process around mana at the moment. They're what I'm waiting for. Would I jump in right now? No, not particularly personally, because the RSI down here, I don't know if you see it. I'll tell you what, I'll draw this back up just so it's a bit bigger so you can see it. So the RSI currently floating at a massive 92 or 93. Yesterday hitting 94. That is pure top end, guys. I've seen that on a very few rare occasions. I personally would definitely not be buying out here. I'm definitely looking at drop point opportunities. If you have been selling up here, fantastic profits you have been taking for sure. But do be wary if you're interested in investing in these kind of gaming tokens. Do not, this is not financial advice, but please do analyze where we have come from and where we have been by looking at the chart in an overall fashion, not just the last 2-3 days and seeing green in your exchanges to say, oh, this has exploded by 150, 200%. I must jump in now. Please do not wreck yourself, because the charts will correct themselves for sure, because we do need to identify what's the real price. Don't get me wrong, there's fundamental aspects of this game, because you do need the mana token in order to buy and sell things and use the game itself. So there is that aspect to take into consideration, but you've got to anticipate that this has gone from a roundabout an 80 cent mark to a near enough $5 mark in itself. A massive 500% gain has been occurring in the last 2-3 days. It is absolutely gigantic moves. So do be wary. And if you are interested, I would do recommend, not financial advice, but me personally, I am looking for those drop downs. So let us know in the comments below, have you been holding mana, guys? What's your thoughts on the game? What's your thoughts on the future of this project? Do you think we're going to come down to any of these points that I've put in here? Or do you think we are stabilizing around where we are now and pushing this to incredible new numbers? Let us know what you think. 4,300% up year to date. I think that's a bit skewed now because of what's happened in the last few days. So we're going to have some skewed percentage numbers there, but they still look good. They still look bullish, and I still believe massively in this project. I still think it's early. I still think it's undervalued. Guys, thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments below how super excited are you about this transition into Metaverse. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next update video. Bye-bye.